Year 9 coming up here?
Year 10. Actually going 10, yeah. Just finished year 9 last year. Undefeated in conference champs. First round of the playoffs. See if we can repeat it again this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Over your time at Nichols, how have you tried to structure fall camp? How have you fine-tuned?
Look, it's changed. When we first got there in 2015, it was the 2-a-days. Then it went to 2-1, 2-1, where you can do that. We slowly started, before they even implemented the 1-a-day you can do, we were slowly getting to that anyway. I think a lot of coaches were, because you were trying to prepare yourself. You didn't want to beat yourself up in August. You had to get ready for the long season. So you did just enough, to get acclimated to the heat in South Louisiana, get it going, and get yourself ready for a long 11-game season.
How do you handle it this year? Because you guys were so successful last season. Do you try to keep it the same? Do you tinker a little bit? Well,
I think you got to tinker. You always. We talked about that. You don't want to start where you left off last year. We want to start from the beginning. And so our guys know our season didn't end like it wanted last year with the loss in the playoffs. So they went to work in January, had a good spring ball and a good summer, but you can't, if you just start where you left off, man, I think you're missing the boat. So we start from the beginning, even though we got a bunch of veteran players coming back, a lot of preseason players coming back, but still you got to go out and do it on the field.
And you guys lost, was it like Southern Illinois? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. What did those guys that are coming back learn from that experience, maybe yourself as well?
Well, I think they knew we were a better football team than that. We always know you got to show up each week. We didn't show up that day, and we didn't put our best effort on the field, and those guys knew that, and they want to work a little bit harder, and they also want to work and said, hey man, let's get that first game at home in the playoffs. It makes a big difference.
Had you had to travel as far as Illinois during the season before that?
I'm trying to think. We got to go to San Antonio. We play. We go to Dallas and play. We have some trips. This was a flying trip through the NCAA, so it wasn't really that bad.
Gotcha. I just wonder if maybe that.
Yeah, take a toll of that.
Yeah. Not to make excuses, but it's a factor. Why was the team so successful last season?
I tell you what it was. I thought it started with the leadership of that senior group, and we had some guys. Our season did not start off very good last year. We were always going to play FCS. We were always going to play a tough FBS teams at the beginning in preseason. We started off last year with a really good Sacramento State team. They beat us at home by a touchdown. Then we had to go play Tulane and play TCU, two pretty good programs. So we were 0-3, but I told the staff at the time, well, we had a good football team, and those players proved it. They kept the locker room together, and you know how big it is to have that locker room together. They knew we were a good football team. They stayed working, took it one game at a time and said, hey, let's get in the conference and see what we can do. And I think that's why we had some success.
What made you confident that despite losing those 3 games, you had a good team?
It was a good attitude. It was a good work ethic that they had. They wasn't getting on each other. They wasn't griping. They wasn't complaining. They knew what we had to do. They learned from the mistakes that we did, and they were man enough to go out and correct it and get it done on the field. And then all of a sudden, you have a little success. Success breeds success. They know we can play. And then look, you got to stay injury-free, and you got to have some things bounce your way also. And I think all those factors were taken into account.
Yeah. Is it kind of hard sometimes because you want to start the season off strong, but you schedule very difficult teams?
I think it is, but we've done it so many times. We played them a bunch of road games in a row. Like this year we're 3 in a row on the road before we finally come back home. The newness of the season is kind of worn off by the time you come back home. But we do sell it and build it as, hey, it's going to make us a better football team when you get into the months of October and November.
Yeah, it's opportunities to play in cool venues against very strong opponents.
Good competition, absolutely.
And you get some money from it too.
Yeah. It's always a big deal. It helps the athletic program. Our guys know that. But look, they love going play. Those guys playing at our level, they know what they want to do. They show that they can compete at the higher level, so they love going out and doing that.
Who's on the schedule this year? I know you got LSU. Who else in non-conference?
So week 1, this year FCS is a rare 12-game season. So we play in 5 non-conference games. So we open up with a big game on the road at Louisiana Tech in Ruston. We'll come to Baton Rouge week 2, play LSU, and then we'll go on the road and play a return game against Sacramento State out in California. So that'll be a good test for us against a good program like our level. We come home against Mississippi Valley. We'll have an open date. And then our last preseason game will be against Southern here in Baton Rouge. Is back on the schedule, which hadn't been in a couple of years. It always been a big rival back in the 80s and 90s. It's good to have them back, and then we'll get into our conference match.
That's awesome. That's going to be a lot of fun over there.
Yeah.
I guess let's start with LSU because we cover them, cover Southern, obviously. I don't know how much you've looked into them already. What are you seeing from them this season?
Look, the flagship school, the state school. You know, every athlete, especially around here, dreams of growing up and going play in Tiger Stadium and playing for LSU. So it's going to be a big opportunity. You know, we were on the schedule to play them in 2020, and it was the COVID year. The season got canceled, so we never did play. So this will be the first time Nichols has gone to Baton Rouge and played in Tiger Stadium. So there'll be a lot of excitement. You know, a lot of local fans, a lot of local Nichols alumni is going to be excited to see if we can go against, you know, obviously top 10 team in the country. It'll be a big challenge for us.
Have you been to Death Valley before?
Yes, I played as an assistant a couple of times at some other schools I was at, so it's not new. First time going in as a head coach. Yeah.
How do you prepare the guys for, you know, that kind of environment?
Well, I think you just try to minimize it and say, hey, it's just another game. We've been to big stadiums before. Now, these guys have not, but you know, we've been to Georgia, we've been to Texas A&M, we've been to Kansas, Kansas State, TCU. We've been to some big venues, so those guys will be ready for it.
Two more for you. Southern, just what kind of challenge they present, playing on the bluff. I mean, that sounds very fun.
Always good, always fun games. New head coach, he's going to be good.
Yep.
So I know they're excited, probably excited to get us back on the schedule. Again, a lot of people that are Southern fans or, you know, are Nichols fans and Nichols alumni, it's good to play those state schools that's close in proximity, you know, and what it brings. So, again, another big challenge for us, but it ought to be a good ball game.
I love it. And then just maybe broad strokes, what Colonel fans should expect. You know, a lot of returning starters, another strong team.
Yeah, you know, anytime, wherever I've been, when you got your starting quarterback back from last year, you have a chance to be successful. We had the Conference Player of the Year in Jalen Spears, our running back, our other first team back in Colin Guggenheim. And we had 16 all-conference players, so obviously we have a little talent. Now, you still got to go out on the field and do it, but I like our group. They're a fun group to be around. They're on a mission, and then I really think we're going to be good on defense. We really be able to run a little bit. We got some guys up front that can get after it. We got some leaders on that side of the ball, so I'm excited about it.
Good. Anything else?
No, good. It's just we got our big first scrimmage this Saturday. At 9 o'clock in the morning in Guidry Stadium. If you're around, come pike by. And next week we got a little fundraiser, which is we have a race and a cook-off with our last scrimmage, getting ready to go to the season. So we're looking forward to it. Come support the Colonels if you get a chance.
Fans can come to the scrimmage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any practice, you can come by. Yes.
9 a.m.